I'm D Brown, CEO, and welcome to this episode of Self-Made. Joining me on the show today is an internationally acclaimed actor, best known for his role as Michael Orr in the movie Blindside. Please help me welcome Quinton Aaron to Self-Made. Quinton, man, I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, I always like to start the show off by really understanding where you come from. So start with your childhood. Where did you grow up, and talk to me about your early years.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I'm an 80s baby. Grew up, my mom said I came out singing. She's like, pop right out. You yelled and it was like harmonious. The doctors was like, is he singing?
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay. And then later on, I guess around 4, she couldn't shut me up. She'd be playing me every time she played music. I'm singing the song. She's singing. Like back in the day, I used to do some Anita Baker, Sade, Michael Jackson.
Wow.
Prince. So I've been singing like pretty much all my life. Yeah. And then I took to acting not long after that because I used to like to watch certain shows, but I would always pretend to be the characters on the shows that I watched. So it drove her crazy around the house. I would always, she didn't know who I was. One day I'm Batman running around in some tighty-whitey underwears with a bathroom towel tied around my neck.
Right.
Don't tie the towel too tight. Just running and pass out. Boy, cutting off his circulation. Untie the towel. Almost choked myself out. But yeah.
So what were some of the challenges you faced during your childhood?
Bullying. Yeah. I used to get bullied a lot in school. It's funny, I was always the biggest kid in class, but...
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. You don't look like the guy people go around want to bully.
Oh, today I'm not. Today, no. It's very hard to bully me today. I got tough skin, but I'm also tough. So. Yeah. But I'm a nice guy. I think back in the day, I was just, being the older brother. I didn't really have people to look out for me in school, and I was always shy and timid, very introverted, and so I would kind of just like stay to myself. But that's a, target for kids who don't know no better. And so I got picked on, I got teased, I got called names. And I remember one day coming home and talking to my mom, and I asked her, I said, how come nobody likes me? And she said, well, what do you mean when you say nobody? I said, the kids at school. She said, well, let me ask you something. You have friends? I said, yeah. She said, do your friends like you? I said, yeah. She said, do you believe me when I say I love you? I said, yeah. And she said, what about the rest of your family? I said, yeah. And so she looked around and she goes, well, what do you mean when you say, how come nobody likes you? Because I just pointed out several people who do. Right. And I said, well, when you put it that way, she told me, she said, doesn't matter if people like you that you don't even know. She said, all you can do is be you. She said, be you, baby. She said, be you, baby. Yeah. Just be you. And, it doesn't matter who don't like you. You ain't put here to please them. So be you, and God has a, bigger purpose for you. So just live your life, do what you want to do, and I'm going to help you along the way.
Now, you mentioned the whole bullying aspect that you dealt with growing up, and I know that you have a foundation that you started, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about the foundation and the inspiration behind that.
Yeah, so back in 2012, I started the Quinton Aaron Foundation. And it was just basically a way for me to travel, because I wanted to be more hands-on. So I wanted to travel the country and go to schools and speak to kids and tell them my story and kind of like connect with them in a way, in a sense, to where they could see where I come from, and being where I was with the platform that I was given, they could then see, maybe my dreams aren't so far-fetched. Right. My mission was to alert children that, no matter what you're going through, there's a way out. Trouble don't last always, like the songs we hear growing up. I wanted to let them know, like, listen, you could be at the bottom. Like, for me, I got an eviction notice 30 seconds before I got the call that I got the role for the Blindside.
Wow.
So I hang up the phone from the sheriff's department, and I'm trying to figure out what's my next steps. I'm like, all right, pack up whatever I can, take my brother, we're gonna get a cheap motel and try to figure it out from there. Hello? Quinton, guess what? And something, like, this was a year and 3 months since I heard anything about the movie. Because it was like a hold, one studio had it thrown on the shelf or whatever. When she said, guess what? I said, The Blind Side. She said, how did you know? I was like, wait, what? And so, man, you never know what God has in store for you. And I've learned that a lot over the years. He just always stepped in right when I needed him to. So I stopped worrying about things that weren't in my control because somebody more powerful than me has it in his hands. So
now I'm gonna pivot back just a little bit. As a kid, growing up, you didn't have a father, right?
Yeah.
And so I know you connected with your father later in life. So talk about, kind of from as a kid, your perspective of not having a father. I grew up, I didn't have a relationship with my father, never, really had a conversation with him. So I can kind of relate to that whole dynamic. But talk about that as a kid and then take me through that journey of meeting your father.
Awesome. Yeah. So as a child, I guess it didn't really make much of a difference to me at first because my mom was amazing. There were men in and out of our lives when we were younger, my brother and me. But for the most part, I could say at an early age, my brother's father was in the picture. And he taught me the kind of man that I do not want to be. He showed me, that's the only thing I thank him for, But yeah, he was very abusive to my mother. And lo and behold, little did we know, the only thing it would have took to get him out of there was for him to put hands on either me or my brother.
Yeah.
Because the night that happened, put it this way, y'all ever seen the Tina Turner movie? What was it?
What Love's Got to Do with it? That?
Was that it? Yeah, I think What Love's Got to Do with it, where Angela Bassett played Tina Turner.
Yeah.
And the part in the limo where she went ham on old boy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So one night, my brother's father decided to come home drunk and loaded, and he hit me. My mom tackled him like a linebacker.
Yeah.
Took him to the floor, started jumping. I'm like, Mom! I'm 7.
Right.
I'm a help. I ran and got the old broom. We had the old broom with the big stick and the straws, and I'm like breaking him in the face with it. I took the iron, burn. Yeah, I incriminated myself. I was 7 at the time, so I can't be arrested. But yeah, we got him. We got him good that day, and then that was actually the last time I seen him till I was like bigger. And reason being is like he got out of jail several years later and he wanted to see my brother, his son. So my mom was like, Jared was too young to remember what happened. We'll leave it up to him. If he wants to see him, we'll let him come by. So of course I had to go pick him up from the bus station, and I gave him the talk. Yeah. Now me, 16, I was 6'6", 340 pounds, wearing a size 17 shoe. He's 6 feet, 200 pounds. So he goes, yeah, son. I said, don't call me that. Just look right at him, don't call me that. Let me tell you something. And we were in the car driving. I said, I want you to act up this weekend. Act up. One time. Nobody gonna find you. That's what I said to him. He was on his best behavior. Yeah. I was, But that was...
So fast forward to how did you meet your father?
So my father came into the picture last year. All right, so I don't know what it was, but I became curious for a reason. I don't even know why. Like I've never had the urge to seek him out. I remember all the stories my mom told me, and I remember how she described him. And so that's all I had to go on. And then for some reason, like around this time last year, I got the urge to look for him. And so I kind of did my own little investigation at first, and turns out I found him, but I didn't know it was him because when I asked him questions about my mom, he didn't remember. And so I was like, oh, my mom's unforgettable. This ain't that dude.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna forget my mom, like, you know. So I was like, I let it go. A couple months later, my buddy Wayne, who is a federal investigator, and he's an actor as well, but he knows how to look for people through Ancestry DNA. And so I did my Ancestry DNA thing. So my DNA was in the system, and so he started helping me decipher, you know, the family tree and finding people. And so I reached out to some cousins that were like second cousins. And I was like, I never met them before. If they second cousins, then they on your dad's side. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. So we started going through the thing. We found them, asked them, do they know a dude named Stuart Mitchell? They was like, oh, yeah, I know Stuart. Wait, Stuart? Oh, yeah, oh, Stuart? Okay, that makes sense. I was like, but I found out through him I have 9 other siblings that I didn't know of. I got 9 other brothers and sisters. Some of which are older than me, so I'm not the oldest anymore. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. So I got a big sister, I got a big brother, and 22 nieces and nephews.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we got a hold of Stuart. Stuart did the DNA thing, and it came back, you know, match 100%. So I was like, okay, there's no denying it. That is my dad. Right. And so we met up last September, I want to say, like early September. His birthday was the 24th, so like around 3 weeks after we met up was his birthday. I spoke to him on his birthday and everything, and I was traveling working at the time, and I was in California filming a project, and I got the call that he passed away. This was like a couple of weeks after his birthday. Yeah. And I didn't know how to feel about that at first, because it was like, you know, I didn't really know how to process that, because I didn't know him long enough to gain that type of
relationship or bond.
Yeah. And when I seeked him out, to be honest, when I first started looking for him, I didn't want him to find out I was looking, because I wasn't looking to build a relationship with him. I was looking to see where I come from.
Just really more curiosity then.
Yeah. And see, you know, basically where my family was, or who my family was for that matter, who they were, where they were and stuff. So that was my motivation behind looking for him. But, you know, it was just, I think a couple of days later, it did hit me that, boom, he's gone. Now both my parents are legitimately gone. Yeah.
And did that emotionally, did it, you felt it emotionally?
I was sitting on the bed and I just started crying. And I don't know why at first, but then I was thinking about it. I think it was a commercial that triggered it. Yeah. I was watching a commercial with a father and his kids and whatever, and it just, for that matter, it just, pow. Yeah. You know, but I mean, ever since my mom passed back in 2008, the randomest things would trigger, you know, emotional responses. And I never used to be that way. But I remember I was watching the movie, what was it, This Christmas, with Chris Brown and all of them. Yeah. So Idris Elba was named Quinton. And Loretta Devine was playing the mom of everybody. And I always said Loretta Devine reminds me of my grandma. My grandma passed away a year before my mom. So in the end of that movie, everybody's having the dinner around the table. And he sneaks in and hugs her. And she goes, Quinton. I was like, oh, my God.
Stop boo-hooing.
I'm like, why am I crying over this movie?
Yeah, that's interesting, just, because, you know, I was always the oldest. And then when my father passed, I met some new siblings
that you didn't know,
right? That are older than me, so I'm no longer the oldest.
So we brothers, brothers,
right? You know? And now actually could be. I mean, I don't know. but seriously though, but for me, I just had no emotional feelings or attachment. It was just like another day at the office when he passed for me. So.
That's you know, and when it happened, I kind of felt the same way. I was like, you know, I don't really know how to respond to this, because it's not like I don't love the man. It's just I had no reason not to love him. Yeah, you know,
Did you
Knowing
attend the
what
funeral?
the story was, I couldn't because I was working on set at the time it happened. It was in Houston. I was in LA filming, but I was talking to one of my sisters, and they were sending me pictures and stuff of it.
Yeah.
And so it was like a link where I can look at it on live. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was one of those things that took a while to get to. Now, my mom's funeral, I was there.
I'm sure, yeah.
I lost it.
What did your mom,
just
talk to me about your mom and what she meant to you?
Everything. My mom was my superhero. And I say that in a literal sense. So I got to go back and tell you the story of Laura. Okay. So, now y'all know Medea, right?
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
describe her as the rated R version of Medea. You know, Medea was off the chain, but my mama was off the chain.
Right.
I remember, so the first time I knew she was off the chain, I had this mean teacher in the 2nd grade. And one time I had to go to the bathroom, she didn't want me to go. So I almost went on myself, but the bell rung, saved me, so I ran to the bathroom, boom. Went home and told my mom. My mom said, boy, if you got to go to the bathroom, you get up and go. I don't care what the teacher say. I said, Mom, I'm getting in trouble. She said, you want to get in trouble with the teacher? Or you want to get in trouble with me for going to the bathroom on yourself?
Right.
And so I was like, you right. So the time came, I had to go, and I gave her three strikes. First time, she said no. Second time, she said no. I couldn't hold it again. I said, asked her again. She said no. I got up and walked out. Yeah. When I came back into class, she slapped me.
The teacher?
Yeah. I was like, okay. Turned around, walked out the class, went straight to the principal's office. Now, I had my principal at the time, he was like one of them drill sergeant principals, like, picture Morgan Freeman in Lean On Me. Yeah. The song that I forgot yesterday. He was like Morgan Freeman and Lean On Me. That dude wasn't afraid of nobody. I ain't never seen him afraid of nobody but my mama. Yeah. And I think he kind of had a crush on her, I don't know, as I think back. But I walk in the office and he sees me and I'm like, water's running down my eyes. And, what happened? I said, the teacher hit me. He said, oh, Lord. He kept me in the office the rest of the day, got me McDonald's, a Happy Meal. I read the lunch menu on the PA system. I was the principal for the rest of the day. Right. Forgot all about the slap, went home. But apparently my face was bruised. So soon my mom see me. She said, what happened to your face? I said, Mom, you started crying immediately. You said to walk out. You know, in the crowd, you can't really talk. Yeah. And I said, she hit me. She go, oh, okay, that's what she did? Okay. Go in the room, lay down, take a nap. I said, that's it? She said, yeah, go lay down, take a nap. I was like, all right, cool. Forgot all about it. Next day, we have a fire drill assembly at the school. Whole school is in the, like, it's like a gymnasium, but it's like the front. It's like the gymnasium. Yeah. Lined up class by class, boom. Fire drill inspector and the principal walk out the doors. My mom walks in the doors. I see her because I'm already looking at them when the assembly was over. And she's like, she ain't in the room. She's looking around. Like, when she see me, she's like, where she at? She mouthed it like, where she at? And I just have my eyes a point. I'm like, oh, Lord, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. She walks over to the teacher. Now, my mom, 5'10", about 250 at the time. Big mama, you know? Yeah. This teacher was all of maybe 5'4". This was not about to be good. She goes, did you hit my son? That teacher said, yes. My mom said, don't you ever put your hands on my child. What's wrong with? She got a slap for every syllable that came out. It was just, oh no, I'm standing there crying, Mama, no. Mama, stop. Cried all over again. Like, all the kids said, she been deserving this. Exactly. In my head, I'm like, that's it. She going to jail. Me and my brother gonna end up in the system. This is not good. Yeah. You know, so, you know, the principal, teachers were standing like, get her, you get her. I ain't jumping in there. I don't want none of that. Exactly. Principal and the fire drill inspectors came running back in. They pulled her off and broke the fight up. Then, like, the cops was trying to put handcuffs on her. Like, no, you don't have to do that. This lady right here hit her son. this lady's fired.
Right.
The principal said that. So I was like, oh, wow, okay, all right. So the school didn't press charges. And the teacher got arrested for hitting me.
Yeah.
And
that was a bad day for the teacher.
Bad day for the teacher.
I'm gonna interject this. When I was in the maybe 3rd or 4th grade, we were doing a school play, and they told us to be quiet, and I was talking. Ooh. And one of the teachers came up to me and just slapped me, pow, in the face. And after hearing this story,
that's crazy.
I wish I had told my mom. I didn't tell my mama because I felt like, I was the one wrong. But in hindsight,
yeah,
I hadn't thought about that story until you just said. I should have told my mama.
Oh, yeah. I always tell mama. Mama, she did what?
Because that's how I felt. That's how I felt when she did it.
You start taking jewelry off.
Right.
Come here, let me talk to you for a second.
Man, it's interesting, though, some of the similar
I know, right?
and dynamics. Yeah. So I know that one of the challenges you had in life or have had in life was dealing with your health and weight loss and that sort of thing. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was. What I found out is that I was a depressive eater. So I battled a lot of depression, especially after things kind of died down from the movie. I kind of went back into this grieving moment where the loss of my mom became loud again. Yeah. There was only probably 6 months before doing the movie that she passed. And me and my brother, up until we got the part for the movie, were still in that same apartment where all of that went down. And so I kind of had to compartmentalize that grief, just put it aside and focus on the task at hand, Yeah. I was like, Mama went this far to get me that opportunity. I'm going to make sure I do whatever I can to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like why I had to put everything aside and do what I needed to. And then once things started dying down, the demand wasn't that frequent anymore, and the opportunities were falling by the wayside. People were just up and out in my life, and I was trusting them to be what they said they were. And they were say, okay, you ain't hot no more. We're gonna go over here.
Right.
And so then I was just like kind of left alone to feel the loss all over again. And my coping mechanism became food. Even if I wasn't hungry, I would just go eat.
Yeah.
Buy food and eat it just because. And I didn't understand at the time that that's what was happening. It took me getting past that to figure out that's what I was doing.
Right.
But yeah, I blew up like a Christmas tree, bigger than I ever was before, and reaching almost near 600 pounds. Then a couple times, weight went up and down. I tried different training things with coaches and nutritionists and stuff,
Yeah.
meal preps and all of that. What I found is like none of it stuck. Like I would start something, then after time, I would go back into my old ways or whatever. I never really stuck to it. But then 2019, June of 2019, I got diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And that's the same thing that took my mom.
Wow.
So that was a scary moment for me. It was a wake-up call, but a scary moment because that's all I thought about. I was like, she got diagnosed at 37, and 44, she was gone. I got diagnosed at 35. I'm like, I ain't trying to be out here by 42, So I'm like, I kind of saw history repeating itself, and I was like, no, we're not going to do this because I know now what I didn't know when she was here, or she'd still be here.
Yeah.
So I just started, doing things differently. I started working out on my own. I started changing my eating, and then COVID happened. Yeah. That beat me down, in and out the hospital maybe 5 or 6 times throughout 2020.
With COVID?
Yeah, because, no. So one time for COVID, But because of the heart issues and everything that was going on and how my body was reacting to stuff, I kept going in. Luckily, no heart attacks.
Yeah.
There's some wood around here.
Knock on the wood.
No heart attacks. They did procedures. See, I had no blockages and everything. But it was just my body would retain a lot of water, and my heart function was weakening. And the issue with that was that there was like this wall of fluid blocking.
Now, Quinton, let me jump in real quick.
From the lungs, okay.
What I want to do is I want to invite you back for a part 2 of this, this show. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot more ground to cover.
Yeah, we do got a lot more ground to cover.
So we're gonna pause here, and I'm going to ask my viewers to join me back next week with part 2 of internationally acclaimed actor Quinton Aaron on Self-Made with D. Brown CEO. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, without you, there's no me.